Hi, this is Elizabeth. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a twisted pink bracelet. And this particular project is very detailed, so this video is a little bit longer than usual. I have partnered with Panda Hall to bring you this tutorial. This bracelet is beautiful and sparkly, not difficult to make, although the steps are very precise. Let's start with what you're going to need. You will need an assortment of beads, 4 crimp beads, 2 cones, 2 eye pins, a toggle clasp, 2 jump rings, 2 bead stoppers, or you could use tape, and beading wire. You will also need an assortment of pliers and a ruler. For your pliers, you'll need round nose and flat, as well as cutting pliers. Let's start with your first step. You'll start by measuring your beading wire to your selected length for your bracelet. And then once you have this step done, you will need to cut the wire. You need to do this 2 times. Once you have your 2 pieces of beading wire, you're going to start with the first one. We are going to add a crimp bead onto your first wire. Slide it down only a short distance down, and then from there we will be entering it right back into the crimp bead to create a loop, as you see here. Once you've created this loop, we're going to flatten the crimp bead flush to the wire using flat nose pliers. You would need to do this twice. Now we're going to start beading. We'll start with the first wire, which we'll do with the pink beads, then the second one with the silver beads. Start by taking your darker mauve/pink beads or crystals and stringing them all the way down to the bottom of the wire where we placed the crimp bead. For my bracelet, I utilized 3 of the darker beads. Continue your beading process. Once you have on your darker beads, go ahead and start with your lighter pink beads, stringing the full portion of your wire. Once you get to the top, you're going to add 3 dark mauve or pink beads at the top. Now let's use those bead stoppers that we showed in the beginning. If you do not have bead stoppers, you could also place tape at the end just to make sure all that hard work of beading doesn't go awry. Now, start on your second beading wire with your silver beads or your contrasting beads that you decided for your bracelet. You're going to continue the same beading process until you have completed beading your second wire, ending off with those dark pink/mauve crystals. Utilize a bead stopper or tape again. So now we can move on to the other end. So where we've made that loop in the beginning of the project, we're going to add the eye pins. So you're going to actually open your eye pin using flat pliers with the technique of a twist and open motion, not a pull apart motion. Take the end of one strand of your bracelet and add the loop onto the eye pin. Do the same thing with the second strand. Taking your flat nose pliers, go ahead and close the eye pin, bringing it tight and flush against itself. Now that you have the strands onto the eye pin, we're going to move on to adding the cones. Take one cone and slide it onto your eye pin and cover it up, coming all the way down to the beaded strands. Now that we have that, we are going to work on the other side of the bracelet. Remove your bead stopper and add a crimp bead on this strand. As we did before, we're going to create a loop shape by taking the wire and threading it right back through your crimp bead. Taking your flat nose pliers, press the crimp bead flush to the beading wire. Snip off any excess wire. Straighten it out and do the next or the same process with your other beaded strand. Once you have loops at the end of the bracelet on both strands, we are going to do something different by taking both strands and twisting it as if we're doing a braid in here, just to give it an extra dynamic. This is an optional step. Once you have your twist and your bracelet to your desire, we're going to take your other eye pin and add it to the other end of the bracelet, utilizing the same technique as before. Take your flat nose pliers and twist and open your eye pin. Add both strands loops to the eye pin and close it. Take your second cone and slide it onto the eye pin all the way down to the strands of the bracelet. Now our next step is to add the other beads for a little bit more emphasis right on top of the cone. So I've started here first with a light pink bead, which I'll take all the way down to the top of the cone. And for more sparkle, I've added a bicone Swarovski bead. This is optional. Once you have that, take your needle nose or round nose pliers, going all the way down to the bead, and bend the wire back over the pliers to about a 90-degree angle. Then taking it back over the pliers on the other side to create a loop shape. For this bracelet, we will create a wire wrap instead of snipping off the excess. So carry the excess wire and take it around, wrapping it around itself until you get as close to the bead, the last bead, as possible. Snip off any excess and pull it off. Now you're going to take a jump ring, open it up using a twist and turn motion, and add it to the loop of your wire wrap with one end of the closure. Once you have that end of the toggle clasp onto the bracelet and the jump ring, close the jump ring with a twist and close motion. Open another jump ring and do the same thing on the other side. Add the other end of your toggle clasp to the jump ring and close it again with a twist and turn motion. That's it. It took some time, but you'll end up with a beautiful bracelet. Thanks so much for watching.